Hey everybody, it's Ashley from Discover Art Therapy. Welcome back to another therapeutic art video. Today we're going to be using watercolor as a form of mindfulness. The exercise we're going to be doing today is very simple. All you'll need is a form of watercolor paint, so whether that's in the tubes or cakes or inks, you'll need a watercolor brush, water, and a piece of watercolor paper. Mine is really big, so I'm going to cut it in half for this one, and that's all you need to get started. As a professional art therapist, I like to remind folks that if your materials feel too intimidating, change them. We don't want our material to keep us from making art, right? This is a very large piece of paper, and that can feel extremely overwhelming. So if that feels like you need to make it smaller, make it smaller. There is no issue. I'm going to cut mine in half, and it doesn't have to be perfect whatsoever, but that's going to feel more manageable for me to cover with the amount of time we have. Today we're going to be using these materials as a form of, yes, mindfulness first and foremost, but presence as well. Practices like this, where we're not focused on what the pretty art is going to look like at the end, and instead we're focusing on using the materials in a mindful, meditative, grounding, calming way, that's going to help us with so many different things. To get started, you can use any paintbrush, of course. It will just change the way the art looks depending on the brush you have. I am going to use one that kind of looks like this. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but it's kind of got a pointed tip, and I've got a few different versions here in different sizes. Just take a moment with yourself before we start and ground. Maybe it's taking a deep breath or two and just bringing yourself into the present moment. Maybe it's tapping your arms lightly with the opposite arm and just getting really present in your body and in your being. Grab a paintbrush. You might gently move it around in the water to loosen up the bristles if they were hard since the last time you used them, and choose your first color. I'm gonna go in rainbow order. My palette is also already in rainbow order, and that's gonna make it easier for me. Might make it easier for you as well. Dip your paintbrush in and just gently move it around. Maybe take a breath or two, calming your mind, and with no pressure at all, just move and gravitate your hand towards where the first mark wants to be. My brush, I'm going to try to make little flower petal-like shapes. And one by one, flower-like shapes are going to emerge on my page. You might notice I am not dipping my paintbrush back in. I'm using all of the paint that I've got on there, and it's becoming more translucent as I go. And once you have one flower shape, we're going to start filling in the middles. You might want to choose to add another color at this point, or maybe wait a little longer. We're just going to continue to mindfully fill in any open space, creating a spiral from the inside out. And we're just going to tune in to ourselves and to our being and just be with the painting. Just enjoy. Notice the way the colors are landing on the page. Are they vibrant? Are they softer? Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm already noticing myself. There's parts that I did fill in all the spots and other parts I didn't. But it's not about what the art looks like. It's about what does it feel like to make it. Can you just ground back into each present stroke? Just what is the very next one? Switching to pink. And then take a breath and just put your brush down and ground into the next one. And then take a breath, put your brush down and ground into the next one. Remember, we're utilizing this as a mindfulness practice, as a way to calm ourselves. If there's any inner critic chatter, we don't need that here today. I'm enjoying the way I'm having a more translucent color show up as I don't dip my paintbrush back in. I think the process would look and feel very different if I was dipping it back in, which you may choose to do. But keep going and switch colors when it feels good for you, when you want to switch colors. And I think that's the big thing about therapeutic art making as well, is that it's an opportunity for you to listen to your own heart, an opportunity for you to express yourself in your unique way, an opportunity for yourself to play with no rules other than your own. I just want you to keep going, mindfully filling in the next space that wants to be filled in, and shifting colors when that feels right. Perhaps you meld your colors together, blending them in the transition. I just transitioned using orange and pink together and just seeing what color comes out on my page without judgment, without any chatter, just placing the brush down on the page, making a mark, and moving on to the next one. An experiment here is experimenting with pace. What does it feel like to do this very slowly? What does it feel like to do it with a heavier hand? What does it feel like to move quick and speedy? What feels good to your nervous system and to your being? Explore pace and size. Maybe your petals get even bigger, or maybe they grow smaller. And just keep playing, connecting back to the breath, connecting back to each present brushstroke with acceptance, experimentation, and joy of creating just for the sake of creating. When you transition over colors, you might wash your brush off. You may choose not to. Maybe you enjoy or experiment. What is it like to have the muddier colors show up? And just accept that in your artwork today. Sometimes we get frustrated by the art we're making. Maybe we have expectations, or we think it should look a certain way. When it doesn't look or feel a certain way, we feel a lot of things. And so this is the interesting part too, right? Therapeutic art, it's probably not that we're just frustrated about the art itself and the way the art is turning out. We're probably frustrated about other things in life. And so sometimes we can notice, are we talking to ourselves in a negative way when we're making the art? Are we saying we don't like this, or we're not trusting ourselves? And if there's negative things showing up for you, it's not just in the art, is it? You're probably talking to yourself in that kind of a way in a lot of different situations. And so sometimes this is just a great way to elicit and to notice and witness the parts of ourselves that need to be seen, that need to be loved a little bit more, the parts of our behaviors that need to have a little bit more emphasis of healing on. And so just keep going here and invite in kindness, invite in warmth, invite in flow and presence and ease, invite in experimentation and play and slowness and breath. And I want you to keep going here. I'm gonna keep painting as well. And keep going until your page is full. And then we'll meet back to take a look and witness what we've created today. And there you have it, my friends. You have not only made a very beautiful piece of art, you have also tuned into a mindfulness practice, something that you can carry with you throughout your days as you move on into the rest of your life. You always can turn back to watercolor as a source of grounding, of calm, and of anxiety relief in stressful times. I love watercolor mindfulness processes like this because they're so easy to turn to in times of stress. You can adapt this for yourself to make art for 5 minutes or even make art for an hour, depending on what you need for the day. Thank you so much for making art alongside me today. I hope you had a really lovely time, just like I did. I feel much more calm, and it's just always so nice to have a piece of art too that you can hang up. Honestly, you can put this in a frame. It's so lovely, and when you put it in that frame and you put it on a wall, it's a reminder of how important it is to take time for your self-care and for your creativity. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We'll see you in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay notified of all the different therapeutic art videos that are going to be on this channel soon. Bye!